Welcome to our monthly Blitz Pass ship showcase. First, a little history lesson. Captain Cassin Young, 1894-1942, was a legendary, highly decorated U.S. Navy officer. He earned the Medal of Honor for his fearless leadership aboard the repair ship USS Vestal during the 1941 attack on Pearl Harbor, and later made the ultimate sacrifice during the brutal naval battle of Guadalcanal in 1942. Built in 1943 in San Pedro, California, the USS Cassin Young is one of 175 Fletcher-class destroyers built during World War II. She first tasted combat in April 1944, striking Japanese strongholds in the Caroline Islands. Designed for pure speed and versatility, she anchored the naval offensive in the Pacific, clashing in 7 major battles, including Leyte Gulf and Okinawa, and miraculously surviving 2 kamikaze hits. Though decommissioned in 1946, she was reactivated for the Korean War and served until 1960, outlasting her expected lifetime by a full decade. Today, she rests as a National Historic Landmark at the Boston Navy Yard, right across from the USS Constitution, one of only 4 surviving Fletcher-class destroyers still afloat. As always, this Blitz Pass ship drops with 2 distinct camo options. It's a tough call because both offer massive value. You've got a unique concealment camo that looks absolutely clean, versus a historical camo that buffs your speed and traverse speed. Personally, I'm leaning into the speed and traverse camo. Since the ship already boasts excellent base concealment, building for extra mobility lets you contest caps aggressively right out of the gate. When it comes to consumables and skills, this ship is absolutely loaded. Extra repair kits and fuel smoke are utility tools you almost never see on American DDs, destroyers. Throw a high-tier radar into the mix, and the Cassin Young easily becomes a strong threat. For the gear layout, while the community is currently debating whether the new equipment phases Nerf cruiser and DD acceleration, I'm sticking to my default destroyer setup to keep her nimble in chaotic cap fights. Still trying some combinations and waiting for second phase of the new equipment system. For your commander, Arleigh Burke is the absolute meta choice here. His torpedo reload skills create perfect synergy with Cassin Young's kit. That said, any standard high-level US DD commander will do just fine. In World of Warships Blitz, the Fletcher class is famous for being agile, hybrid-style ships with great acceleration, decent torpedo firepower, and shorter main gun ranges. Usually, Fletchers sit comfortably at Tier 9, like the Techline Fletcher, Black Fletcher, Johnston, and Halford. But here's the kicker. Cassin Young enters the game as a Tier 8 destroyer. If she dropped at Tier 9, she'd just be another Fletcher. Dropping her into Tier 8 completely changes the matchmaking landscape. You are essentially getting a Tier 9 ship pack in a Tier 8 matchmaker, allowing her working in this tier. We're going to check the kid's situation. While her 5-turret main gun performance has that classic US high-arc shell trajectory, making long-range gunboating a bit tricky, it still packs a punch you can't ignore. Often, when devs reduce a DD's torpedo count, they buff the guns. That's not strictly the case here, but the addition of torpedo reload, a trait that makes the Black Fletcher powerful, gives Cassin Young terrifying burst potential. Look, let's be real for a second. When we talk about Cassin Young, we are essentially talking about a kid, and ultimately, the kid is just a Fletcher variant. But while the kid feels like a rare ghost in random battles, leaving a lot of players questioning whether it actually delivers on expectations, Cassin Young enters the Tier 8 arena to completely rewrite the script. Sure, on paper, the physical dimensions, the main guns and the core hull features look identical. And yeah, the kid packs a decent toolkit, but let's face it, its anti-aircraft suite still doesn't act as the massive deterrent we want it to be. But here is where Cassin Young flips the game entirely on its head. What happens when you buff the fuel smoke, throw in radar, and, the absolute crown jewel, add torpedo reload? The game changes dramatically. Normally, with gunboat-focused destroyers, you don't expect devastating torpedo performance. They're usually just a zoning afterthought. But being able to instantly deploy an extra set of fish at crucial moments, even if you only do it a couple of times a match, it raises your burst damage potential to a completely different level. Let's break down why this combination is so lethal. First, you have that high-level fuel smoke, which is your ultimate comfort zone and escape plan. In a DD, the longer and stronger your smoke, the better your survival rate. Period. Then you add radar, which is a massive, indispensable asset for winning those high-stakes 1v1 destroyer dogfights and securing caps. And finally, that torpedo reload. This is incredibly rare for American DDs. When you stack all of this together, you get the version of the kid we always actually wanted. Historically, both are real, existing ships, true variants. The Fletcher class was one of the most heavily produced warships of World War II, so it's no surprise we see so many iterations in Blitz. But since the kid was already uncommon, the arrival of Cassin Young essentially renders the basic kid obsolete. More importantly, that torpedo reload gimmick opens up a whole new playground for a legendary commander like Arleigh Burke. What you get here is a comfortable, high-damage American destroyer experience that doesn't demand sweaty, pixel-perfect skill to perform well. Is it overpowered? It's hard to call anything OP at Tier 8 right now except some specific ships. The meta here is incredibly fluid, constantly shifting with new and returning ships. But Cassin Young easily ranks among the top tier. Even if you have a match where your guns aren't landing, its utility alone puts it in a perfect position for capping, supporting the team, and spotting the enemy. I'm no fan of the most American destroyer's main gun performance, with the exception of the Burroughs tech line. And it's not just because mostly they carry single-gun turrets. Their floaty shell velocity and mediocre range that makes their pure dogfighting capabilities feel weak to me. To be fair, balances this out with excellent base acceleration and concealment. And don't get me wrong, the main guns aren't useless. But when you are staring down French, German, or Pan-European destroyers, you have to play opportunistically and master the art of kiting. Look at naval history. There were only so many battleship classes built, so variety has its limits. But I'm getting full with Fletcher class get the Yamato treatment with endless variants. But these are historically accurate. In my opinion, keeping nation-specific flavors tied to their traditional ship types is what preserves the authenticity of the game. American cruisers running around with smoke and American destroyers packing radar and torpedo reload. It's a hell of a lot of fun to play, but man, it's getting a little crazy out there. All right, guys, that's all from me for now. Stay in tune and have a good one till next time.
Fire alarm! Unacceptable! Contain it immediately! Our victory is in sight! Spare none in your fury! Our victory is... penetration! The hand of the Emperor guides me! Confirm penetration! The hand of the Emperor guides me! Target penetrated! I strike with the Emperor's fist! Praise the Emperor! Confirm penetration! The hand of the Emperor guides me! Confirm penetration! The hand of the Emperor guides me! Target penetrated! I strike with the Emperor's fist! Confirm penetration! The hand of the Emperor guides me! The hand of the Emperor guides me! Praise the Emperor! penetrated! I strike with the Emperor's fist! The hand of the Emperor guides me! Penetration! Praise the Emperor! Enemy force detected. penetration! The hand of the Emperor guides me! Sighted on the horizon. Confirm penetration. The hand of the Emperor guides me. I require augury! Enemy force sighted on the horizon. Confirm penetration! The hand of the Emperor guides me! Sighted on the horizon. Confirm penetration. The hand of the Emperor guides me. Unacceptable! Contain it immediately! Praise the Emperor! Target penetrated! I strike with the Emperor's fist! Wage war on the heretic! Requesting fire support. The hand of the Emperor guides me. I strike with the Emperor's fist! Penetration! Praise the Emperor! Guides me! Penetration! Praise the Emperor! Confirm penetration! The hand of the Emperor guides me! Penetrated! I strike with the Emperor's fist! Praise the Emperor! Confirm penetration! The hand of the Emperor guides me! The enemy is about to win! A true servant never yields to doubt! me!